Does Shakur Stevenson need a stoppage against Artem Harutyunyan this Saturday to really solidify himself as a real threat, as a star, a potential pay-per-view star? Because Shakur hasn't fought on a pay-per-view event, but obviously if he intends on fighting a big fight against Gervonta Tank Davis, he would have to prepare for those bright lights. And I've been saying that a big concern in my mind is how Shakur would react to the bright lights. Would he be able to perform? Because Tank's been here so many times and has had that big stage experience, where Shakur maybe hasn't had it to the level or extent that Tank has, but it still, has the skills to pay the bills. We know Shakur Stevenson has got the goods, but against Artem, does he need that stoppage win to really show us that he's ready to go, that he's on that level of Tank? Because I always say it's all about, can you take Tank's best shot? Because I know Shakur has the goods. I know he's got the best jab. I know he can measure that distance. He's a machine. He's a engineer when it comes to this kind of stuff. But it's always my concern, once you get under those bright lights against a guy like Gervonta Davis and you're having success, can you keep your eye on the ball, for 12 rounds and not lose a step, not, have a lack of concentration for even a second? That's the kind of stuff I'm concerned about. But with Artem, obviously a really good fighter, a come forward fighter, a guy that has power. We're going to see how Shakur Stevenson looks against him. Obviously, Artem fought Frank Martin, and that was a competitive fight, not Frank Martin's best performance. So if Shakur can go in there and make it look easy, maybe, we start to stir the pot and say Shakur Stevenson is, gonna beat Tank, stuff like that. You know how boxing fans are, and they become very extreme when they see their most recent performance. And obviously, Gervonta Davis got that stoppage win over Frank Martin and looked impressive. I've been saying that was probably his most impressive fight, in terms of performance that I've seen. And, I've seen the fights like Leo Santa Cruz, but I'm talking about beating a legitimate guy, who's in his weight class, didn't come up, didn't move down. So, he's beating a legitimate 35-pounder in Frank Martin, who's a credible opponent and, he's a good fighter. So I give all the credit in the world to Tank for that fight. But, this is a big moment for Shakur Stevenson. I talked about it in my last video, and it's titled, How Good is Shakur Stevenson? I just posted it, like a day or two ago. But, the amount riding on this performance, I don't think people understand the magnitude of this fight for Shakur Stevenson. Because yeah, this may be his last fight on Top Rank and fighting on ESPN, but this is a big fight for him to showcase to other promoters that he's got the goods, he's got the talent, he's a well-rounded fighter, he can promote a fight, he can back it up with an exciting performance, but he has to do it in the ring. It's so uber important for Shakur to have a good performance, not a good performance, but a great performance, because all the him being a free agent, all that noise and stuff like that, it all matters about, this great performance. It starts with this great performance. If Shakur doesn't have a great performance on Saturday night, who's going to want to invest all that money into him and give him a solid contract where he's going to be making the money that he's going to be happy with? He's going to have a good performance. I might even say he needs a stoppage to really get that deal that he really wants. And I've also been saying that maybe that's not the prior concern. Maybe it's more so just getting the big fight. So if he has to go to Al Heyman and get closer to that Tank fight, and maybe take less pay up front with a contract, but he's gonna get those big names and then sign a big deal, to fight a guy like Tank, then maybe it's worth it. But it all starts with Saturday night against Artem Harutyunyan. So like this, you can't skip it. You have to. You can't look past to Tank. You can't look past Artem. You can't. He just has to zero in and focus on this fight on Saturday night, because as important as it is to get the win, you also to an extent have to be somewhat exciting, in my opinion. Because if you're not, obviously the win is the win. Take a guy like Floyd Mayweather, and I'm not talking about the pretty boy Floyd days. I'm talking about when Floyd hurt his hands and he was more so Money May. And when he was Money May, he was talking all that talk, but maybe didn't have the best performances, but he was able to, talk a lot of crap and then back it up. And the people loved it because they continued to watch him time and time again, because people were like, this could be the guy that dethrones Floyd. This could be the guy that hurts Floyd and knocks him out. But there was never that guy. And the continuous, wave of people wanting to see Floyd lose continued to grow, and that's why time and time again we were like, this is the guy that's going to beat him, this is the guy that's going to give him a tough fight. So Shakur hasn't gotten to that point because he's not enough of a villain. You know, he has fans, but he doesn't have enough haters. You know, he has haters, but he needs more haters to get to that level of Floyd Mayweather where, yeah, he's getting people angry and they want to see him lose, but he's backing it up. You know, he's getting wins, but people don't really care because, you know, his style isn't that exciting. He doesn't say anything crazy. So I'm not saying, you know, do stuff that's out of your character, but I'm also saying that if you don't possess the exciting boxing style, you almost have to have something about you and be charismatic or have something in your personality that gets people excited. Otherwise, it's going to be very difficult for you to make a lot of money in the sport and become a star. And I apologize for the technical difficulties. Camera died. But yeah, just going back to Shakur Stevenson, I really think that, you know, you have to have, you know, one of the two. You know, you either have to have an exciting style or you have to be exciting outside of the ring. And the thing is that, you know, a guy like Tank kind of has both, and it's natural. He has that power to the point where he's delivering these brutal knockout performances that the boxing fans and even the novice boxing fans, the casuals, love to come and flock over to the sport of boxing and watch Tank fight because they know what they're gonna get with him. They know what they're buying with their hard-earned money. So, and then you have a guy like Shakur where he doesn't have the most exciting style, and people, you know, you need to give them a reason to watch you fight. You know, they're not just gonna watch you fight. You guys gotta give them a reason to invest into your story, and maybe that's also, you know, on Top Rank. Maybe that's also on the promotion, but it's also, take a guy like Ryan Garcia, for example. No matter what promotion he goes to, people are gonna watch him fight because he has a following outside of all this. He has a social media following that's almost unprecedented. So take a guy like Shakur Stevenson, doesn't have that same following and doesn't have that same exciting style, but he definitely has the skills to beat top guys. There's no doubt about that. But the truth about it is that if he wants to make a lot of money, if he wants to become maybe the face of boxing, he needs that, you know, exciting style. He needs that Kodak performance. He has to continuously look better and better. And I understand that against Edwin De Los Santos, he wasn't feeling his best and, you know, had an injury going into that fight. But, you know, this is the time to really show the people, show the promoters, and show all the haters that you're still that guy when it comes to boxing. When it comes to winning, you know, I'm that guy, and he has to do it in somewhat entertaining fashion. I feel like if he goes in there, gets a unanimous decision, and just, you know, sticks and moves, yeah, you're gonna get the dub like you wanted, but it's not gonna increase your stock at this point. That's just the truth of the matter, because as good as he is, people want to see exciting performances. Like, you know, Tank's in a good position because he's exciting out of the ring. You know, he does crazy things, the antics at the weigh-ins. You always see him pushing and shoving and talking all that crap to his opponents and getting in their head, because psychologically it does a lot for him, because it promotes the fight, number one. Number two, when Tank, you know, has these antics, he's getting into his opponent's head and beating them psychologically before they even get into the ring. So, you know, promoting and beating your opponent with mental warfare before fight night even comes is something that Tank has always been doing. He's been that guy when it comes to just getting inside your head before the fight and questioning whether or not you can handle his power, whether or not you're what you say you are, because Tank always says, my goal when I'm fighting somebody else is to show them that they're not who they say they are. And he's continued to expose every single fighter that he's gotten in the ring with. Shakur Stevenson has to get on that same track where he's hurting guys. You know, he has to make statements, or otherwise, you know, who's gonna respect him in the sport? You know, no one's gonna respect Shakur Stevenson, specifically Tank, if he doesn't show us, you know, that he can hurt somebody. So in my opinion, you know, the skill level is always on display with Shakur Stevenson. We're not getting the exciting performances, but maybe it's not about that. Maybe Shakur doesn't care about being flashy. He just wants to get the win by any means necessary. I just think it's doing a disservice to, you know, his bank account, to more so his pay and the potential deals that he could get with promoters. You know, people are going to lowball him with contracts inevitably because he's not the draw that Tank is. He's not the exciting fighter that a guy like Ryan Garcia or Terrence Crawford is. So it's hard to say that, you know, he's going to make a lot of money because, you know, although he has the skills, it's not the most enticing and exciting fight to watch from, you know, a fan's perspective. And that's just the truth. That's me keeping it 100. I know he's good, but I think that, you know, he even knows that Tank would be the A side because he's not that same draw and that same, you know, kind of face of boxing that Tank is, or at least just yet. You know, maybe he's evolving into that. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Does Shakur Stevenson need a knockout this Saturday against Artem Harutyunyan? But it's going to be a great fight regardless. I hope Shakur can get the stoppage. That would look really good. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace. That's going to do it for another Naz Fight Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Matt Nabong, with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.